I have a Reds hat on. I am a Reds homer.
It's Rotowire's ADP Outliers for fantasy baseball. I'm Alan Seslowsky here with Rotowire Major League Baseball editor Clay Link. On this video, we're going to give you tips that'll guarantee to help you get an edge in your fantasy baseball draft. Clay, which players are you higher on relative to the standard Rotowire rankings and projections?
Well, I have to start with Vlad Guerrero Jr. I've been a big Vladdy truther for a while now, and look, I think this is the year it happens. The ground balls do worry me a little bit, but Vlad Jr., ever since I saw him with my own two eyes in the Arizona Fall League, I've been convinced that this guy is an elite baseball talent. And the strikeouts and walks have been great in his first 2 years at ages 19, 20. And I think he's about to take off. And I also like Jarred Kelenic. And yes, it's another youngster, and you're going to have to play the waiting game probably a little bit as the Seattle Mariners manipulate his service time, which I thought this kid was ready last year. Everything checks out. He can do a little bit of everything. He can hit, and I'm excited. You will have to wait again, but I think if you're patient and you get a quality outfielder to buy you some time, you're gonna be happy that you made that decision to wait.
So who are the players that you're lower on versus the Rotowire composite rankings?
I'm a little bit lower on Trevor Story. I just think, as a first rounder, he comes with a lot of risk. Jeff Erickson has him 12, Todd Zola 10, Eric Halterman 11. I have him 21, just because I do think they're tearing it down there in Colorado, and there's a very real chance that Trevor Story plays half the season in another ballpark. And if you strip away the Coors Field factor, Trevor Story becomes a whole lot more average. So while I like the skills, the speed, I think he's propped up a lot by Coors. So I'm a little bit reluctant to invest a first-round pick. I think he's more of a second-rounder, Trevor Story. Brandon Lau of the Rays, maybe I have a little recency bias in my head after the way his postseason finished, but I have him outside the top 100 with their indiscriminate platooning there in Tampa Bay. I'm a little worried that he's going to be squeezed out more than a lot of people are thinking.
There are no such thing as true sleepers anymore in 2021 with all the great information out there. But who are players going outside of the 100 top ADP that you think are must drafts?
I really like Dylan Carlson in that Cardinals outfield. Jarred Kelenic, who I've already mentioned, I'm high on. And on the pitching side, TJ Antone. I have a Reds hat on. I am a Reds homer. And TJ Antone is everybody's sleeper. You're right that true sleepers don't really exist anymore. But TJ Antone's a guy that I'm happy to jump up several rounds to get. I also like Yusei Kikuchi. I've said that he's maybe the most obvious sleeper of all time in fantasy baseball. Just everything under the hood looks really good. So I like Yusei Kikuchi. I like Trevor Rogers as a lefty who can pump 97 in that Miami rotation. He's very interesting. And also there in Miami, Eliezer Hernandez, very unique pitcher. He's got some junk, and I think there's a next level for Eliezer Hernandez. Guys, also Andrew Vaughn, another youngster, but I think the aging curve is shifting a little bit in baseball, and we set our expectations a little higher for these guys just getting their feet wet.
In 2021, what is the best way to build your redraft fantasy baseball team? Is it with pitching or is it with hitting?
It's an interesting question because the pocket aces approach that Batflip Crazy, Tony Gavin on Twitter has made popular has a lot of merit to it. Taking that approach is viable. And we know that when things are going well for pitchers, they move the needle more than anybody, but of course there's that just elevated injury risk that comes with any pitcher. It's such a violent motion whipping your arm so fast that it just naturally leads to so many injuries. But I like to get one pitcher in the first 4 rounds, but I want one starting pitcher who I feel pretty good about. Maybe I draw the line at like Kenta Maeda. I don't feel like I have to get one in the first 2, but one in the first 4 I think is advisable.
What is the biggest mistake that even experienced drafters make over and over again?
Positional scarcity, which is kind of a myth nowadays. It doesn't really exist like it used to, especially shortstop. It does exist at catcher, but I still think, just given the rigors of that position, it's so hard to hold up for a full year. So I think people maybe get antsy and want to fill that spot and reach for a catcher just to get somebody in there. You don't want to get left out during a run on closers or run on catchers or run on second baseman. But I think if you're disciplined, you don't get caught up in what's happening too much, what other people are doing. You don't follow the trends of the other managers in the draft room.
To see Clay's full set of rankings, click the link in this video, and they're living live on Rotowire.com. Remember to like and subscribe to get notifications when we put up new videos for fantasy baseball.